Good afternoon, swing traders. It's Tuesday, August 27th, and I'm going to give a quick market update. All right, the markets, the QQQs in particular, ended almost flat today from yesterday. We were down 0.021%. It was somewhat volatile today. We did gap up on the open and then retested this level, this 183.64 level. Ultimately, it did not break through. Volume again is light, and pretty much identical to yesterday. So if I do look at the 10-minute, you see the gap up, and then there was a slow march down all the way until that level, and then it did somehow recover somewhat just there. So again, yet another day not telling us much. The same thing with the SPY. We're still in this major consolidation range. This is seen by a lot of people as a large bear flag. So just like the QQQs, if we break this level here, the bottom of this range, we're in for lower prices. So if you're a bull, you do really want to see us break above this level again, and ideally close above this level, and then if we do, we'll hopefully revisit the highest. But for the time being, while the prices are in this range, it's going to be remaining to be volatile and continue to trade light. I only took one trade today. I took a day trade in Roku, and that was really just purely out of boredom. Probably not the best trade. I did get in early, wrote it up a bit, and then wrote it down, stopping out with a 50-cent stop. So lost a little bit of money there, but it was a tiny trade, and it was I was looking at it just as a day trade. Now Roku did have a very impressive recovery today. Around the 1 p.m. time, it completely turned around after completing an ABC structure to the downside. You see this ABC structure to the upside, and now it's consolidating again near the highs. Now, if we look at the daily on Roku, it did break out to new highs, and that's one reason why I did take the trade this morning. But anyway. I did not buy it after the recovery, but it still looks good. It is on expanded volume, above average volume at the highest. So Roku is one of the view stocks that did hold up well today and looks good today. Shopify, same thing. I don't have a position, but it did break out to new highs today, slightly gapping up, and then it is on increasing volume. So Shopify also looks good. So if you're in it, I would just recommend holding on to it a bit. But in this volatile market, it is important to continue raising your stops and also kind of take money off when you can. You don't have to take all of it off, but it's never a bad idea to take profits, because if this does turn into a bear market, even stocks that have been holding up well will eventually break down. If your confidence isn't broken down ahead of that. That's really the main thing I want to say today is, I recommend not trading. I took that one day trade today, but I really did not take any swing trades and just kind of sticking with my plan. A lot of the stocks I'm in are holding up very well. ARWR, just kind of zooming out a bit. ARWR had a good day. CVNA did hold at the highs. Had a bit of a down day on lighter volume, but it's right up there. So if the market does turn around, this one could be in good shape. Smartsheet, it did break below this key level today, and I was going to watch it and close it out if it did close below that today, but it didn't. It did close above, and I decided to hang on to it. What I don't like is on that sell, it was on a little bit higher volume, but that could also be interpreted as there were buyers below this level, which drove the price up. So that's a good thing. Team did open above the swing point here, but very quickly failed at price there, coming back down and retesting the levels from yesterday's low. It bounced off of that and ultimately closed looks like just below yesterday. But team still remains at the high, so looks good, and I'm sticking with it. AYX had a great day, sitting here right at the highs. Volume is still light, but I'm going to stick with this. CrowdStrike, I actually did reduce my position a bit in that, but I still have some, and I'm going to hold the rest until the break of this level. But I'm expecting to bounce in a couple days. After this many days of red, I think it'll bounce. I hope it bounce. If it does, I'm gonna exit promptly on any opportunity, so I can sell that before earnings. Otherwise, I'm gonna take the lump. I am down substantially, but luckily it's a small position, so it really doesn't matter all that much, and definitely has been offset by my ARWR winning trades I have there. But that's how it is. You can't win them all, and that's actually one reason why I do like to diversify, in the sense of creating or holding multiple stocks and creating a portfolio of stocks. I'm not the best at diversifying across industries because I do pick a lot of software names, but where I can, I've been trying to pick up stocks that are in other industries, just so that I can get more diversification there. But CrowdStrike has been getting hit, and it was late to be hit. Zscaler, which is a very similar company, sort of a similar industry at least. It was hit earlier, and it's just staying low, and I suspect that'll continue until earnings. And then the same thing with CyberArk, broke down quite a bit earlier, ahead of CrowdStrike, which they're actually very similar as companies. I'm not in CyberArk at all, but I've just been watching it break down, and I've been impressed with CrowdStrike's strength, but it definitely has my attention now, because it hasn't held up, and we'll just see what happens. I like this company in the longer term, but just kind of sticking to my rule not to hold through earnings. I'm just going to have to deal with that. Anyway, let's see. Okta had a great day again. Earnings tomorrow, I believe, the 28th. I'm not sure if that's pre-market or post-market, but Okta is really set up. It has this nice long run up. It has this nice long consolidation. Okta's a great stock. We'll have to see what happens with earnings. I suspect Okta will, if the earnings are positive, it will have a major pop. A breakout or gap to new highs. But if that's the case, I may try to catch some on this around the swing point, around the 141 to 136 area. I may enter in a few orders ahead of that, but I'll have to decide. This is an environment where I really want to take a lot of risk, but that's just what I like to do, especially when a stock will gap up. A lot of times when it does open up the day after earnings, it will come back down and retest the level, and that's a great time to pick up some extra shares. And then let's see a few others. Neo held up well. Ring Central held up well. Pays got hit. I was looking at this earlier. It had a tough day on expanded volume. There's likely has more downside. Unfortunately, it tried to rally last week, but has had a bad last few days. The only thing, it looks like this run up was on heavier volume than the run back down, but it has moved so far. It's just not a pattern I can trade right now, so I'm gonna just avoid that. BLL looks good, holding right at the highs. Guarded Health, really kind of a flat day. C Technologies slight up day, but it's still below that swing point. Let's see what AMD did. Looks like a flat day, but it is above. It's still above this point, but again, I probably would not go long AMD. Beyond Meat had a little bit of a gap today. Let me look at the 10 minutes, see what happened. Yeah, just very much oscillating today. So this would have been good for day trading today, but not something that I want to be in necessarily. Tesla just continuing to break down. Zendesk continuing its retracement, but did actually find resistance here. Yep, just watching this. Same thing with Rapid7, just sitting in this consolidation area. Let's see any other ones I want to look at. Looks like MongoDB tried to gap up today and closed near the low of the day. Interesting. I bet a lot of people got caught in that. Zoom looks like we're still consolidating. Flat tightening channel. Twice it's tried to break down below, but has basically held. It's waiting for earnings. Slack. Yep. Yesterday tried to rally. Today gave it all up. More downside for Slack. Disney flat. Workday flat consolidation here. Fiverr, just a downward spiral. I love the Fiverr website, and there's some pretty cool stuff on there you can do, but not a very good stock. Toughen, more of the same, etc. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. I don't really have a lot to cover. This market's boring. I'm not going to be trading heavily in these types of conditions, especially with all this volatility. It's just not where I want to be. This is where swing traders lose money. So I'm trying to stay out of it as much as possible. Even though I do have a few positions, I'm watching those fairly closely, but I'm definitely not entering new positions other than the occasional day trade. And just kind of sitting on my hands. It is not time to go big. So if you are trading, trade small, and or just not trade at all until we have a confirmed direction. So and on that point, I've been reading StockTwits a lot. It's just someplace I go for entertainment. There are bears everywhere. Everyone is negative. So part of me is the contrarian, the contrarian thinking, which is why I do still have some long exposure. When it's the end of the world for everyone, that's usually when the market turns around. So since Friday, Friday was a horrible day. We had this candle, but then yesterday we were up, and everyone was bearish, end of world bearish. Today we gapped up, and more end of world bearish. So just makes me wonder: are we going to gap up again tomorrow and retest these highs? I don't know. Technical analysis lately has not been very effective when it's so choppy. But the contrarian in me thinks that there may be a gap, but maybe it is the end of the world, and we're going to gap down here, and we're just going to, everybody's going to sell their shares, and the entire world's going to collapse. Who knows? I'm just trying to keep an open mind and just stay open to the possibilities of anything, and just be able to react. Again, I do have some long positions. I may some of those positions may turn negative, or I may lose some cash there. But that's a risk I'm open to taking right now. But that's not, I'm not taking big risk, and now's not the time to take big risks. So I feel like I've repeated myself a million times on this thing. But again, I don't have a lot to say other than be careful. So I'll wrap it up right there, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.